It really all began not with fishing, but with purely the river for me. Like the river came first and then came fishing as like a side effect of that love. There it is. You see how cold it is. Those are some of like my earlier memories of sitting on my dad's lap at his fly tying table. It was in the basement of our old house, and I would come down there with him and we just spend hours tying flies. And it was amazing as a young kid to see what you created was having an effect on what you were doing. I grew up on the river with my dad, and he would take me to like a little reservoir nearby, but most of the time I'd just be falling in the river and jumping in it. But then as I got older, he handed me the rod more, and then I eventually got my own, and I started to fall in love with the actual act of fishing on the river. When people met me when I was like 18, they'd only know me as like Emma the climber. Both my parents were climbing guides and ice climbing guides, and I dabbled in competition in middle school and high school. All my vacations were to go climbing, and that's all I did. I went to college and I left the people that I grew up climbing with, and I really started to lose my passion for climbing, just because I had been doing it for so long. After I hurt my back and took some time off from climbing, and that's when I realized that fishing was the new thing that was going to take over my life. And it brought me back to being a kid on the river and made me feel happy and simple, and it was perfect. And my favorite parts are being like alone out there. Like have these old little brooky streams and places I grew up watching my dad fish, and I get to go to them and just be in absolute silence with the river. But for me, the best parts of fly fishing is the moments that I put down the rod for lunch, and I get to sometimes I just draw on the side there and just listening to the river. My dad sent me a picture of one of his flies, like a salmon fly that he tied, and so I drew that, and from then on it became this amazing thing to draw. The river is such an interesting thing to draw. It's one of the hardest things. It's impossible to capture what a river looks like and what it feels like, but it's amazing to try. I just want to keep combining all the things that I love. Both those things, writing and drawing and fishing, it's all coming together and telling stories and taking kids out on the river. Because there's very few problems that the river can't answer.